Hey, Shalom, Akim Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Chakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. A sincere Shalom to the hopeful like this out there, listening, learning, and or teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom. So this is fair use for educational purposes only. Okay, I'm going to play this video, Akim. It says, employee allegedly burns down a warehouse, quote unquote, pay us enough to live. You see, so the Lord is making prophecy speed up, man. There's insurrections, people coming up against these big corporations, people talking about coming up against the government because the people are tired, man. People are tired of working nonstop for pennies on the dollar. All right, this is oppression, man. Especially for Jake. Jake's under the curses, man. All right, but these other people are starting to feel it too. Okay, and that's hey, good. Now they get a taste of what Jake has had to feel. But ultimately, man, this video is showing you that we're at the end, man. That people are getting ready to rise up against the government and against corporations, man, because these corporations and the government, they go hand in hand. Okay, these corporations have power over the government, this in this capitalistic society. Okay, which they're starting to talk about how this is an attack on capitalism, so on and so forth, and they're trying to put people into a box. And eventually they're going to want to come up against those who speak against capitalism, man, because this is their system, a crooked system, which they call themselves a God-fearing nation. It's a goddamn lie, man, because the scriptures is against capitalism, man. Capitalism is covetousness, right? This insatiable greed and amassing riches at the expense of other people is wickedness, man. Okay, the scriptures talks about leaving some food for the poor, right? Don't glean your vineyard. All right, don't set up house to house to house so that you're the only one left. Like these corporations buying out all these different properties, raising rent. You see? That way people, they have a monopoly on rent. So now all these, shitty ass apartments, you got to pay over $1,000, man. No apartment in America is worth $1,000 a month, man. To live in a fucking box, half of these apartments ain't even worth it. Okay, but that's to where it's gotten. It's gotten to a point where, the people are snapping, man. And the scriptures said this would happen, man. The scriptures said this was happening. This was gonna happen. All right, I'm gonna actually grab a precept before we play the video, man. This is 2nd Ezra 15, and we're just gonna start at verse 15. It says, "For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand." Okay, the modern day sword is the gun. And one people standing up against another is representing these class wars. All right, you're gonna have class wars, race wars, riots. Okay, but what we're gonna see in this video is an example of a class war, man. The poor versus the rich. Okay, now nobody was put to death, but they could have been, right? All right, and then this is basically it's an act of war because that's a lot of inventory, man. Okay, now in other countries you've seen insurrections where people will break down politicians' houses and drag them out into the street. Well, that's getting ready to come to America, man. Okay, verse 16, "For there shall be sedition among men," right? Sedition being talks of inciting violence. Let's pull it up in the etymology. All right, sedition, noun, rebellion, uprising, revolt, factitious commotion in the state, concerted attempt to overthrow civil authority, violent strife between factions, civil or religious disorder, riot, rebelliousness against authority. Okay, this is more what it's going into. And if we go down, it says the meaning, conduct or language inciting to rebellion against a lawful government, Okay, which that applies to these corporations rebelling against them, doing this. Okay, now it's more going into words. Okay, you can think about people on social media saying "f the government," or people on the on the internet posting comments talking about good, this corporation deserve it, so on and so forth. Let's burn down more, so on and so forth. Things like that. That's conduct or language inciting to rebellion against a lawful government. Okay, so what you're seeing here in Revelation, or Salakia, in 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, right? Men, people in general is going to be talking about, coming up against this wicked, corrupt government, right? It says, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, right? Like I said, man, more of these warehouses going to get burned down. You're going to see more of this happening, and you're going to see eventually people kicking down the doors of politicians, invading their homes and putting them to death, dragging them out into the street. Okay, it's going to get to that point, and like it says, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. They're not going to worry about what Donald Trump has to say. They're not going to worry about what the police has to say. They're just going to do whatever they have to do. Okay, especially when there's a lack of bread out here, that's when it's really going to turn up, man. Because right now, people are comfortable. People are just struggling to survive, but they can still eat. And when you take away people's ability to eat, that's when they're going to put a sword in you, man. That's where that sword's going to come out. The modern day sword being the gun. Okay, because that's where it's heading to. With this economic collapse, as you see with the war in Iran, it's going to continue to get worse. Okay? And these corporations are going to continue to slowly, slow down the rise of pay. These landlords are going to continue to raise the price of the rents until eventually something snaps and people are gonna start taking action, man. Right? This is a part of prophecy. There's going to be a great rebellion, man. And then after that, you see what it says here in 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because martial law is going to be implemented. Right? You're going to have chaos and then order out of chaos. Okay? You're not going to be able to go wherever you want. All right? There's going to be checkpoints set up. All right? But this video is a great example of what can cause it, man. Okay? More stuff like this. So I'm going to go ahead and let the video play. This is fair use for educational purposes only. I should have just dragged it back. Here. There we go.
911, officer emergency. I want to report a fire. I don't know if it's been reported already.
A suspect is in custody after allegedly starting a fire at an Ontario, California warehouse. The Ontario Fire Department responded to the call at a 1.2 million square foot facility operated by Kimberly-Clark, a distribution warehouse for paper products. The Ontario Fire Department said the blaze reached a 6-alarm response and required almost 200 firefighters, 20 engine companies, 15 truck companies, 2 ambulances, 17 chief officers, and 3 investigators to contain. 29-year-old Shamel Abdul Karim, an employee of NFI Industries, a third-party distribution company for Kimberly-Clark products, has been identified as a suspect in the fire and has been taken into custody. This comes after a video was reportedly posted on Abdul Karim's private Facebook page showing how the incident began. In the video, a man said, if you're not going to pay us enough to afford to live, at least pay us enough not to do this, as he lights a package of toilet paper on fire. In 2 other videos, the man says all you had to do is pay us enough to live, and there goes your inventory, as pallets of products burned in the background. The Ontario Police Department says they are, quote, reviewing and working to authenticate the footage as part of the ongoing investigation. There were no reported injuries to responders or anyone else in the building. Abdul Karim was charged with felony arson of a structure and aggravated arson. He is being held without bail at West Valley Detention Center. This is Inside Edition Digital.
Boom. So there you go, man. man, but that's what's gonna happen, man. It's only gonna get worse. Okay, millions of dollars gone. You know, hey, that's what's coming. That's what's coming, man. And call Lord Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai for that. All right, prophecy is speaking. Prophecy is moving forward, man. This is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. That's right. Wicked people are in rulership right now. These Edomites, the so-called white man. Okay, and what does he do? He's a great oppressor, man. It's all about him. How much riches he could amass to himself while everybody else struggle. Especially Jake. Jake has been at the bottom since chattel slavery. Okay, and even now in this wage slavery bullshit we got going on, Jake is still the last one hired, the first one fired. The main one's overworked and underpaid, man. All right, and the Lord is bringing this place to a close, man, because these devils, this is part of what they want. They want you people to start an insurrection so they can have an excuse to lock everything down and bring order out of chaos, man. So this is all according to biblical prophecy, man. Okay, and the world is in a state of mourning, man, because the wicked are in authority. Okay, and so what happens when you push people to the edge, you push people into a corner, okay, they're gonna lash out, man, because what these corporations are doing with their capitalism is murder, bro. You know, it's basically murder. Okay, let me get this precept. This is Sirach 34:22. It says, he that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him, and he that defraudeth the labor of his hire is a bloodshedder. That's right, man. So you making it hard for people to pay their rent. That's murder, man. Okay, you taking away your neighbor's living. Work is how we pay bills. That's how we eat. Okay, but they got people in the perfect balance of extreme stress to, you know, pull the most work out of you for the least pay, but not so much so that you snap. Okay, so they had people in this, you know, hamster wheel for a long time, but now they're pushing the people too hard, and the people are losing it, man. You see? And so what the Lord is going to do here is the Lord is going to continue to escalate and bring these spirits of vengeance out here, man. Like the scripture says, spirits created for vengeance. Let's get that real quick. The Lord is going to continue this process, man. Like we always say, these prophecies are going to continue to scream and scream until that chip is mandated. Hey, it's going to be too late for a lot of you if you don't get with this program, man. Get with the truth. All right, this is Sirach 39:28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Hey, fire, we just saw an example of that, man. Millions of dollars lost, man. You see? Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction, right? Hey, you saw that Brian what is it? Brian Thompson? United Healthcare. I believe that was the CEO that was put to death by Luigi Mangione. You see? This devil denying claims. All right, so that's what the insurance exists, is to pay for people's hospital, but he's collecting all the premiums, but then nobody gets to use it, right? So that's bullshit. That's what capitalism creates, man. That's what this covetousness, man. All right, America's finished, man. This place is going down the toilet, man. There's war within and war without. Okay, you know, America's fighting all these wars on the other side of the world. And now they're going to have to fight a war against their own people, man. You see? This is going to continue to escalate. Just watch. All right? It says, they shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need be, when need is, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. Therefore, from the beginning, I was resolved and thought upon these things and have left them in writing. all the works of the Lord are good, and he will give every needful thing in due season. That's right. And we see in the seasons, man, now is a time of judgment, man. And the Lord is starting to make a lot of prophecy move, man. We see this draft situation that's getting ready to come. The draft, December, they're going to start drafting or automatically draft men 18 to 26. Okay, so that's going to be a very bloody time as well, man. That draft. Okay, you're going to have insurrections over here. You're going to have the draft over there. It's going to get really extreme out here, Hakim. But yeah, just a quick hit. Nothing too long. Just wanted to show y'all, what's been happening. There's been a lot of talk also that there's other warehouses that they're not showing in the news that people have been burning down. People that work there have been burning them down, right? At least 7 is what I've heard. And then on top of that, there was a politician that was shot. They shot bullets through his door. Now these are all unconfirmed. I'll have to make a separate video about them. But there's a lot of talks about things like this going on here in Babylon, man. So that spirit of insurrection is here, man. Okay, so with that, I want to finish by giving all glory, honor, and praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. A sincere shalom to the hopeful elect that's out there listening, learning, and or teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom wa, abba, shalom.